Hey y'all, I'm gonna bring you in. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. I'll bring you in. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. I hear echo. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Stephanie D. Morris with Heart2Heart Conversations with Stephanie. Sorry about that. And it is July 1st, 2021. We are in the 7th month of the year. And I thought, why not go live with some friends? So I have some people coming on with me. We're going to have a great conversation. We are going to talk about Smorgasbord of Life. Life has a lot of things going on. You have many roles as a person. And so I said, let's talk about it. So as you're coming in, please put in the comments who you are, what you do, and one thing that you are grateful for. Well, I am Stephanie D. Morris. I like to say I am the master connector because I love to connect people to other people, resources, information, just things that I know about. Okay. So this is my live broadcast. I go on every week, Thursday. It's normally at 12 noon to 1 o'clock. But today I had an appointment at 12. And instead of just canceling the show like I did last week because I was on vacay mode, I decided, let's just go live later on. And I love going live with some friends. So I invited some of my friends and I'm going to bring them up in 1 minute. Okay, so our episode is Smorgasbord of Life. How many of you know what a smorgasbord is? It's almost like a buffet. It's a bunch of different foods. A lot of times it's cold food, but it's a whole bunch of kind of foods. And I attribute that to life because, again, our life is full with so many responsibilities, so many titles, hats, or roles that we wear. And so I was like, what do we want? What do I want to talk about? Or what should we talk about? I would love for you guys to talk with me. What should we talk about for July? So one of my guests is Precious Pauling, and she is the Soul Sage Doctor, and I am going to bring her on. Give me 1 minute.
Hey.
Hey, Precious. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Let me see if I can hear you guys. Okay, I'll turn up my speaker a little bit. Thanks for sharing it out. So I'm not sure how many of my people know I'm going to be live at 5 o'clock, but I tried to do, I did a live earlier today, and I let them know that I was coming on at 5, but we shall see. But I do want to start with a devotional. I like to start with my devotional. Mm-hmm. And since it's July 1st, I'm going to read I'm going to read the morning. It's a little long. So I am life. It's actually Jesus Calling. Have you heard of this? Jesus Calling.
No.
By Sarah Young. So this version is a morning and evening. Let me see. And I usually read it in the morning. So I like to read it on my broadcast since I didn't read it this morning. It says, I am life and light in abundance. Mm-hmm. As you spend time soaking in my presence, you are energized and lightened. Through communing with me, you transfer your heavy burdens to my strong shoulders. By gazing at me, you gain my perspective on your life. This time alone with me is essential for unscrambling your thoughts and smoothing out the day before you. Be willing to fight for this precious time with me. Opposition comes in many forms. Your own desire to linger in bed, the evil one's determination to distract you from me, the pressure of family, friends, and your own inner critic to spend your time more productively. As you grow in your desire to please me above all else, you gain strength to resist these opponents. Delight yourself in me, for I am the deepest desire of your heart. And that is truth, because so many times we want to lay in that bed just a little bit longer. No, we should pick up the word or just spend a moment with God, but we just want to linger in bed. We want to jump up and get the kids ready for whatever they need to do in their day or even our day going to work. So a lot of times we are focused on productivity and not spending the time required to spend the presence of God. And thus he can set your day. He can align your day. And so I like to start with that.
I was about to say, I think that's so powerful because even when you talk about the productivity, we miss that is about what we're producing. So spending your day realizing that what you are doing, what you are spending a lot of your time in is basically what you're going to produce. And so you produce out of how you moving and what you're moving. And like you said, those are the easy things. Those are the excuses. When we sit in those rooms or like you said, we stay in the bed a little bit longer or most importantly, we stay in that pain too long. How about the pain? How about that the thing that hurt us, the thing that brought us down, the thing that, changed us? We stay in that longer than anything instead of, like I say, the resurrection of what the value was supposed to teach you. And so a lot of times we call it bad, but I call it in your past. You stay stuck in yesterday, not being present. So the future will not be promised because you can't skip over anything. And until we can be present in the now and embrace and accept what it required for us to produce, do we be able to, enjoy the fruits of our labor? But we got to acknowledge that all steps matter. It took the dirt in order for the seed to go in it, in order for you to cry and put the rain, in order for God to be the sun and you to grow into what you are. And so that's what it's all about, understanding that all steps lead you to the promise.
All right. I don't know what I did. I had kicked myself out.
I saw that. And I said, what is that?
Where am I
going? Till she come back.
I'm like, what in the world? That never happened before. So, okay, hold on for 1 minute. I want to get my other girl. She was supposed to come on. She said to ping her. So, have you heard of the word smorgasbord before?
No. I mean, I've heard of the word, but I can't say that I know exactly the definition. It sounds like a whole lot of stuff going on. A smorgasbord is like a whole lot of stuff going on in one area is what I'm thinking, but not sure for sure.
Yeah.
You know them vocabulary words that you heard in the sentence?
Yeah. Yes. So I thought about 7 months already. We've been here 7 months and we're going into the 7th month. So we have completed 6 months.
Half of the year.
And so are you at a place where you feel like you accomplished something in those 6 months?
Oh, Well, I am. I definitely feel like I'm in a place that I accomplished something in those past 6 months, only because every day I'm trying to figure out, what am I not doing? What can I do better? What can I increase? What am I missing? And so in these last 6 months, I have really invested in realizing what it is that I offer from here. Now that I've written the books and people know my content, you know what my mission is. How do I move and transition into the next state to be more effective, more impactful on a larger scale? And so I have been working on that in the last 6 months. So I'm really proud of where I am, especially with the plate that I'm holding. So I want to say that until we start celebrating, let's say in the last 6 months, you just was resting. Give yourself the permission to do what is required for you in this season, right? And so I realized that in 2020, God had me more resting. He knocked me out of my original Facebook. I couldn't even go on to the page that I built. I had to recreate. So this page I'm on is a recreation. It is not the one I had that I started with everything, where I have my movement and my group page. God literally took me out, like I said, isolation, wilderness, in order for you to rethink it, right? He got to make you still in order for you to see something new. Because if we're going, we don't get to smell the flowers. We don't get to really see what's next. So I had to take myself out of my dream and put God in my dream, right? And so I had to stop thinking that I had to be here, and here because I wanted to be wealthy, WEALTHY, but realize that as long as I can be still and know that I have everything I need and actually pinpoint, then I can be wealthy, which is WEALTHY. And so we're looking for material things, and God just wants us to look for spiritual awakening. And I think that is the season that I'm going into, where I change my wealth conversation to making sure that every area of my life makes him proud.
Okay, that makes sense. And interesting you say that, because I just had a strategy session with one of my accountability partners. I joined this accountability group because honestly, transparently, I've always run from accountability.
Yeah. Look at me. You are not alone.
I didn't like it because, when somebody's holding you to the carpet, that means you got to get something done. So interestingly enough, she's good. She's filtering things out, asking me questions. And then something made me share this. And then so she put me to a challenge. I'm like, don't challenge me. Don't. I hate that. Because then I have to rise to the occasion.
Isn't that good? You get to rise.
Yes. So I'm going to put it out there. And let me go to the comments right quick and see what this is. Helen Murphy. Okay. So, chase study. So I realize I have been chasing success. I think I've been chasing success because with the, I guess the feeling that you've accomplished something, you feel worthy, right?
Yeah.
But back in January, God tugged on my heart and he's like, look, you chasing all this stuff. You're chasing businesses, you're chasing money, you're chasing success, you're chasing accomplishment, you're chasing worth. Guess what? I need you to chase me. And so I was like, well, I do have the study thing, but I don't know where it is. Like I flipped it off, like, okay. But I don't know where it is. So I was cleaning out something. Guess what? He let me find.
Come on now. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
I was like, really, God? Really? Okay. So I found it. It's called the Chase Study. And I bought, it's a whole group discussion. It's supposed to be done in a group. So I told my accountability partner, I said, oh, look what God told me to do. And she said, that's the word. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, when we started, that's what he was giving me. She's chasing. So I was like, all right. And so I was telling her I was supposed to do this while I was in Jamaica. Because, you're on vacation, nothing to do, right? By the pool, by the beach, you got time. I think I opened it one time.
Of course.
Like, busy. So I said, okay, this is on my heart to do for July. So she said, I challenge you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I challenge you to do it in a group. I'm like, no, I got to learn it first. I'm the leader. I got to learn it. She says, why? Just learn it in group. And I'm like, really? I don't operate that way.
Let me tell you what's so powerful about that way. The perspectives. Because that's what makes the Bible so good. And that's why it's so many churches, right? The word doesn't change. It's the understanding from which you are looking that it gives clarity to what you're reading. When you get people who do book clubs, it's because I see it this way because of where I walked and what I've seen and what I know to be so. And you see it this way because of where you walked. And when you collaborate with ideas, that's the fullness of what it is about. So if I don't speak to you about what I'm feeling, you can't tweak the things that I might be off on, and I can't tweak the things that you're off on, because what's natural to me is how I'm going to understand it. And what's natural to you is how you're going to understand it. And so I think that's what we do. We strive for perfection when perfection is becoming the mold of one of a kind. That means there's nothing to duplicate it to. And so if I can sit in my understanding from my perspective, so I can have an open understanding because I know what it required me and that it required you, but maybe something different, then I can be open to your perspective and you with mine. So I think a group thing is what opens you up a whole lot more to be able to grow your understanding, because when you're by yourself, you've been by yourself. So you think it the same way? What new information? If God says to renew your mind daily, that means somebody has to plant a new seed every day. That means you have to be spiritually fertile to be able to give birth every day in your whole understanding, right? So if I'm in a group where I'm open-minded and sharing minds and open to theirs, then I can grow my understanding 10 times faster than me just understanding what I already understand. I'm already going to think the way I think. That's not going to change the story until I get somebody else's perspective where I look at it differently to change my narrative. And so it's necessary to have large conversations to get to the bottom line, because everybody's looking from a different angle of the picture.
Right. But my sis, my makeup is that to be the leader, I have to know what I'm talking about. And so I have to experience it so that I know the pitfalls and I can say, well, here's how I overcome. And so that's what holds me back a lot of times, because I have to feel like I've accomplished it to teach it, to share it. So she said, you're not to go through this alone. It's a group study. You don't have to be the expert on it. You're learning it together. So here I am putting myself out there. This is vulnerability here. That this is the study. It's called Chasing After the Heart of God. And I'm going to put in the comments how much the book is. So I'm going to do it every Thursday, once a week at 7 p.m. I wrote it down at 7 p.m. And we're going to go through it. It's 8 weeks. It's an 8-week study. And it's, I'm going to share what it talks about. So that way, if this is speaking to you, where you need to chase not after the money, not after what career I need to focus on, not after what job, not after what private school my children need to go to or whatever, but you need to really chase after God's heart. Because once you chase after his heart, he's going to give you his desires into your heart. And they're far more better, greater than you can imagine. So the first thing is getting started. So that's week 1. That's going to be week 1. Lesson 1 is identity. Everybody is seeking identity, right?
I am.
Lesson 2, courage. Lesson 3, obedience. Lesson 4, belief. Lesson 5, repentance. There's a lot of things I need to repent of, right? Lesson 6, surrender. And lesson 7, chased down. So that's what we're going to do.
You know, I love that it's 7 chapters because, you know, my book is 7 chapters and I believe 7 is completion. Chase it down. Mm-hmm. Even my children's book have 7 stanzas. I didn't realize when I wrote it, but I realized when it was done.
What's a stanza?
How special are you? Well, you're one of a kind. It's almost like a chorus. So my children's book is a storyline, and it gives you that repetition, and it comes up 7 times throughout the children's book that they would say that I say, how special are you? Well, you're one of a kind. I could search the world over, and another you I will never find. So every 2 pages, I say that to them.
Okay, got it. Let us see what that cover looks like. I want to go to the heart of the people and say hello to Helen. Hey, Helen, how are you? Please share this out. Oh, she's on YouTube. So I don't know if you can do comments in YouTube, but I think you can.
You can. Mm-hmm.
So please share. We're talking about the Smorgasbord of Life, and that means to me spirituality, health, family. I put up there relationships, love. What area do you find you need to focus more on in the Smorgasbord of Life? I love what Precious said, spiritually fertile. And that's my goal, to be spiritually fertile. Got Nina. Hey, Nina.
Hey, Nina.
And Mona. Hey, Mona. So that's what we're talking about. And we want to share about what's next in the 7th month of July. So for me, I'm going to be focusing on my group study. And I'm trying to think, do I want to, I started a book club. I don't know if you know, I started a book club.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was supposed to launch it last month, but girl, with Jamaica coming up, I'm like, So I got the name. It's called Wisdom Seekers.
I love it.
So I have the logo, but then I have to pay for it. And I was like, do I really want to pay for this logo? So I'm all in my head about it, but I might just pay for it, put it out there, and let's get it started. So
I'm thinking, get it on for Fiverr?
No, because I noticed Fiverr is not doing too many $15 ones. It's like most of them is like.
I got a nice one done for my daughter, and I paid $25.
Really? So send me the person you use.
Link. It's gorgeous. She's
really?
Too sweet to handle. So she does home, and it's forever homemade because we call her Tutu. So it's too sweet to handle, forever homemade. So all her she is 13.
What does she do? Is she cooking?
Yeah, she's baking. So she does carrot cake and cheesecake and a churro cake, but everything's from scratch. So she literally shreds the carrots, flour. So she does everything. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so share that link with me. I would definitely hit them up and see.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the logo, but I don't know if I should do Wisdom Seekers, Faith Walkers. Is that too long for a book club?
No, I don't think so, because they're about to read. 4 words ain't long for a book club.
Okay.
I think go with what you and it's no rules. I think that's the thing. We keep on trying to fit ourselves in everybody else's mold, but if you do what feels good to you, then you will get the mold that belongs to you. And so it's like, if like me, I have a lot of words. People say you gotta knock it down. No, you knock it down. I'm who I am. So I'm not gonna. I'll be best at being precious.
Okay.
I got that down packed. So I may have 10 more words than the average person, but every last one of them is necessary for what I'm trying to say. So I say, listen, if that's what you feeling, finish it out.
Right. Okay. I like that. So Wisdom Seekers, Faith Walkers. We'll see. I think I like it. We shall see. So what else we want to talk about?
We were saying that where are people at right now, going into the 7th month? Like, How are you feeling about what you've done up until this point? I mean, I think we're in the season of it's assignment time. And so while we have roles and titles, which you were talking about in the beginning, it's so important that we realize that it's so much bigger than your roles and titles, right? It's about your life. It's about how are you adding value and impact. And when I see the word impact, it's spelled IMPACT, which is I'm the pack. And the word pack is agreement. And so your impact is heaven's agreement to earth with you. And so how you show up is how you create that feeling of inclusion, right? And so when we actually tell our stories or how hard it is to do this and how it's about us making a conscious decision to say, I'm going to get out the bed today. Not because I even feel up to it, but because I was able to wake up with breath and somebody didn't wake up today and somebody's dreams died with them. And so if God has given me the opportunity to basically get over that. That's why I say from survivor to a soulvivor, because we won. Come on now, our flesh is winning every day. We stay stuck in the mindset of what happened to us instead of how we happen to it. Because anytime you get up from something, that means you happen to it. That means you resurrected from that situation. And so until we can realize that it's all about you making a conscious mind decision to show up for you and create the life and the relationships that you think you deserve. I don't have a 19-year marriage because I sat back and let it work itself out. It was because we went through processing to promise. I don't have 5 kids that are very special to me, and I'm so proud of them. It was because I had to sow those seeds, right, of having that point and having that relationship. And so we can have whatever we create. And so we don't feel the stuff that we have is because we're not creating it. We don't understand our power. And so it's about, like you said, being in action for your attraction. That is you. And so if I show up for me because of what I went through, that's why I got to get up, because I went through that. I deserve to get a return on my investment. They call it ROI. Well, we need to get that in our life stories, because you have been through hell and back. And so what do you get on that when you show up in that story? I mean, we should be more proud of the things we got up from instead of shame. That's why I say remove the shame and get in your lane, and it allows you to what? To get a return on the investment that you paid in time, sweat, tears, and equity. We got sweat equity out here. And so it's like we're not actually celebrating our wins. We more concentrate on our losses, and it's like that's this little compared to your wins. And so if you would be like, oh, I know I got it because I did it this and this, then you got a different type of pep in your step, should I say. And so I think we're losing our drive because we're forgetting about how much we won.
Exactly. And a lot of times I know growing up, there was something, it was not a thought to fail. Like failing meant disastrous. It was a disastrous thought to fail. But actually, if you don't step out and do something and it doesn't work, guess what? You learn how to not do it that way, and you do it a different way. Yeah. So we teach our children not to fail. Oh, you shouldn't fail. But then you get so scared that if I try it, I might fail. You don't even try. So you're already living defeated. I actually think I am having a phenomenal 2021 because I have been implementing a lot of things. So this show, for one, and it's supposed to be a podcast as well. So I'm going to work on that for the next quarter, getting that on just audio because I have video and audio. But my accountability partner, she asked me, she says, oh, what was the object of this show? And I was like, God, number one, put it in my spirit that I wanted my own show. I think you had your show, Melissa had the show, but I was like, for me to be a coach or a mentor to somebody, they need to know who I am. They need to see my spirit. They need to know how I talk and, how I just facilitate life. Yeah. How are they going to do that if I'm never talking? So I said, let me just have my own little show. I didn't want it every day because that I'm too busy for that. So I said, once a week is good. And so this platform is for me to showcase not just Stephanie, but other business owners, other people that have gone through trauma and want to talk about it. Yeah. I think for so many, we are silent on our pain. Mm-hmm. And so we're stuck in that pain. But if we become transparent and let people know I hurt, then other people can step in with their wisdom, their experience, and heal us. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy amount of people in pain and how God shows up in our lives. So Wednesday, for some reason, I got to figure it out. But for some reason on Wednesdays, I seem to be going through something. I don't know why. The last couple of Wednesdays have been very, very hard for me. And so yesterday I was like, I just laid on the bed, looked at my mom's picture, and I just started talking to her, just feeling, just wanting to feel her. And then I started talking to God. I says, hey, I'm lonely. I need somebody to check on me. I need somebody to talk to me, and I didn't want to reach out to somebody because then it might have been the wrong somebody. I don't know if you did that, right? So I wanted God to send somebody.
Come on.
Yeah. And sure enough, my phone rang. Won't he do it? Right? Won't he do it? And so my friend called and we talked, and instantly I was like, oh, you need prayer. Let's pray. And I prayed. And then she asked me a question and I answered. She said, oh, you need prayer. Let's pray.
Come on now.
So we prayed for each other. And then I was like, okay, let me go back home. And then my cousin called me. Oh, I'm just calling to check on you. That is God. That is God. You ask and you shall receive, right? And so my Wednesday evenings is very busy. So I had 3 different calls to get on. And I chose this one lady. I haven't met her in person. I just met her through a phone call. So I get on the call and she's not feeling good. So she has the call facilitated by another person. And the person said, we're going to talk about surrender. And I'm like, I'm like, okay. So other people talk and then I share. And let me tell you, I shared just what I shared just now. How I was feeling down, out of sorts, laid across my mama's bed. And then I went into sunflower. So the week before on the call, her name is Simone. She says, I want you to describe yourself. And so people's describing themselves and she gets to me and I'm like, I don't know. It was a Wednesday night. I'm feeling out of sorts. Wednesday is having me wacky for some reason. So I said, I don't know. And so she says, well, I feel sunflower for you. I'm like, sunflower? I'm like, okay. And so she says, I want you to research sunflower and send me in the email what it means or whatever. So yesterday, while I was at my mom's, I researched sunflower and I came up with what sunflower was. Girl, it set me free. And so I explained, I read out what sunflower was. And when I finished speaking, the lady was like, Stephanie, I did exactly what you did today. She wasn't feeling good. She said she laid on her bed, looked at her mom's picture. Her mom, I think, passed in November. Wow. She said, talk to mom and God. Do you see how spirit connects? It's just amazing. It's amazing. And so she's a powerful person where she doesn't want to but stay in the pain, right? And she doesn't want to burden somebody because she's always the hugger. She's always the positive one. She's always the lifter up. Sort of like me. So I don't want to burden anybody. However, if you're always the healer, who comes in to heal you?
Come on now. Healing all healers. And I mean, that's the bottom line. But what you said is key. Who came in is who's already in position, because everywhere you're going has already been laid out for you. And so I think that's what's so key, is that you were open to surrender to the man upstairs. And I often say God himself would never come down. He can only send somebody. That's you, that's me, that's everybody walking. And so when we speak, when we feel those instincts to pick up a phone, and or oftentimes people lose people and they say, man, something told me to call them. We do not trust ourselves with the whispers, right? Because God is always whispering to you. He is always telling you what to do. And then you get to these positions and you're too ashamed to ask. The number one thing, like you said, is ask and you shall receive. He said, if you would be vulnerable enough to ask, I already put it on somebody's heart. And if you do your part, I will open them up to do their part. But if you can't ask, then you're not ready to receive. Because in order for you to get something, you got to know you need it. And then that means you got to ask. And so what's so powerful is that because you didn't know what it was, but you knew who to go to, and he opens up the door. But you got to be willing to believe, right? Having faith that when I ask God, the answer is always yes. So now I'm expecting for him to say, if you wasn't expecting that, you wouldn't have answered the call. See, it's not just to ask, but it's after you get up from asking, you are to expect what you already asked him for, because the expectation is going to come in the people that he sent. And so you'll be like, oh my God, you were here all the time. I didn't even know. Well, God said, well, all you had to do was ask. And I love that. That's how life works. Everything we get is because it was in our mind to want that desire, to then ask, to then get it. And that's powerful.
Yes. And it's just amazing how he will connect you to people. Like, I don't know this lady, never met her in person at all. I was on a phone call and she was just ministering on the phone call. I was like, oh, I like this lady. And we just connected. And it's just amazing how God works. It is amazing. And Nina said she grew sunflowers this year. Oh, girl, I got to come and see them sunflowers, because let me share sunflower. Now, I like sunflowers, but it's not like my flower. I'm like, what made her pick sunflower?
You're going to love it now, right?
Honey, it says sunflowers are large, tall flowers, and they're known for a lot of health benefits. Their oil, the seeds are healthy. And do you know that they can extract toxic ingredients from the oil from the seeds? And sunflowers, they're genetically programmed to become giants. The sprouts are high in B. I think it means the stems are high in B vitamin and vitamin E. What else? They are used in breads, medical ointments, dyes, body paints, physical enhancements. Like, they're known as ornamental plants, and they're cherry bright. I call it staturic. What is it? What did I call it? Staturic. Like very.
Yeah. Like, statuous, right?
Statuous, right. Right, because they're so big and prominent. And the petals, they call those ray florets. And what else are they known for? They can grow in drought, but they really like moist, fertile, well-drained soil. And one interesting thing about them is, if
I want you to stop right there. Moist, well-drained soil. You know what that means? That means you took just enough where you release the stuff. That's why I was saying the thing about a butterfly. As a butterfly, in order to transition from the caterpillar to the butterfly, the stuff that creates the cocoon comes out of the behind. And so it comes out of the back end of it to create the cocoon that makes it a butterfly. And so when I associate it with life, I say we all go through stuff. And in order for us to really blossom, nobody knows that as a caterpillar, you're as low to the ground as you can ever get, right? And a lot of us feel like that. But I can assure you that a caterpillar looking up at a butterfly doesn't know that they will one day become a butterfly, because the butterfly don't come down and talk to the caterpillar and say, I used to be you. That's the misconception. So now when the caterpillar is about to turn into a butterfly, it releases that toxin. So when I think about spirit imitating life, and everything that God shows us is just us to see, to reproduce in human form, is that in order for you to morph into the butterfly, you gotta, excuse my friend, let the shit go. Because there are certain things that we are holding that got us saturated so we can't grow. Because you can overwater a plant. So if you're crying about old milk and now your plant ain't never growing, you're overwatered. But if you could let the stuff, so God said, take the lesson and turn it into a blessing. Figure out what, I'm not picking on you, I'm picking you up. You're on assignment. These are variables, solve for X. When you realize that, then you'll allow yourself to let go of the stuff that is drowning you in order to get enough nutrients to grow you into the sunflower, the tree, the rose, whatever it is. And so I love that it said that it would drain it, because you have to be moist enough to go, but drained enough to not die.
Amen. And it's funny because it says it will tolerate drought. So it's very, very tolerant. But I was reading different websites, and they said when you plant the seeds, you can't plant them too close because there's competition.
Yep. You'll be on cross-pollination.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, wow. So, I mean, I learned a lot about that sunflower. And then my cousin said they're 12 feet tall. They are really, really tall. And they're beautiful. Mm-hmm. They are really, really beautiful. She says the seed is planted in the dark, unfavorable conditions to produce the growth of the flower. Mm-hmm. Wow. So I didn't know that about the butterfly. About the caterpillar. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. That is just really crazy. But
I was shocked when I heard of it.
Huh?
I said I was shocked when I heard it. When I heard it, the cocoon was made from what comes out of the bee. I was like, I get it, and it just clicked. So, like my book, "Awaken to the Infection That's in You," a COVID till, Pain into Power, is going through that morphism. Like being able to release the things that God was building you into. Like you are here to go through that so that you can be the answer to somebody. So somebody can find their switch so they can come out of the darkness. So until you remove the shame and get in your lane or tell your story so God to get the glory, you miss the whole point, the purpose of you being here. It is to bring the same thing in heaven here. So people are like, oh, I'm going to die and I'm going to do this. No. He said it's already set up there. He said, I release you to the world to create it here. And so if you're not living that wealthy, WELLTHY life here, then you're just waiting. So eternity means here and there. So eternity starts here if that is already destined, right? And so how do I create that paradise right here in order to say I'm living out the story of me, which means I'm going to live in my greatest parts of me while I'm living and then when I'm gone, right? And so it's like that's already taken care of. So the now is all you got. So y'all waiting to die ain't got nothing to do with that. That's we got that covered. He said, I released you to make sure that they never know the difference between living and dying. Because if you create that paradise, it doesn't change. It is the same thing. And so I think that's the hard part, realizing that paradise is created by how you show up in your reality and how you understand what life is really worth.
Wow, that's so powerful. And you talk so fast, girl. But you are right. Like, I was reading. I said it today. Yeah, I said it today. Actually, I said it today because today I was reading from 31 Days of the Heart of My Purpose, and I was talking about purpose. What am I here for? You know, and I posed the question. I says, where is it? Oh, here. We are born innocent, and we have to learn everything from others. In my younger years, I've often felt that I have always existed. So that's wild to me because like I'm thinking about it and I don't know an existence other than here. Like it always felt like I've been here. Now I know I haven't because I don't know who George Washington is. I don't know, so I know I have not.
It's a sense of home.
Huh?
It's a sense of home.
Yeah, it's a sense that I've always been somewhere. And so I truly believe that we were put here for our journey to evolve.
Period.
To evolve.
Period.
And it's up to us to make our life, like you said, a heaven, a paradigm, or a hell.
That's right.
And I am so glad that I get to release a lot. Like I don't hold on to a lot of things anymore. One of the things I think I am so proud of myself, I'm going to pat myself on the back, honey, because it took a lot of growth. I'm going to be honest and transparent. That's all I know how to be. I'm Priscilla's daughter. To let people have their journey.
Come on now. All
my life, I've been trying to mold, fashion, shape, not only my life, but other people's life. Who am I? I ain't Jesus. I ain't God. I mean, yes, we can shine our light. I can share my experiences, but that person's journey is that person's journey. I don't know what God put their spirit here to do. Okay? I don't. And yes, you make mistakes, and I will pray for you. If I can help you through the journey, I will, but I cannot walk that journey for you. And I no longer can try it. I have to work my journey, and my journey is hard enough. Okay? So
powerful. Let me tell you
relief.
You know what that just triggered in me? Probably about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my husband, and we were talking about, God saying be a fisher of men. And I said, the problem is God said to be a fisher of men. He didn't say to clean them. So we trying to clean. He said to catch them. He didn't say to clean them. And so sometimes we're out of position because we're out of position. Your job is to show his love, to light up, right? And to remove yourself from situations that don't serve you, because he said to treat your neighbor as you treat yourself. So the first love has to start with you. I can only give you what I have. But when I say to be a fisher of men, I didn't say it was your responsibility to clean them up and then send them out. I do what I'm going to do. I said I want you to connect them to me through your life so that you ain't got to say God nothing. You just got to show up, and people got to say, well, who is it that you know? And then when I tell you who I know, then you are caught because you are inspired. Everybody get these numbers on YouTube, Facebook, these reels. It's only because you inspired somebody. The question is, you inspired them to do what? You are a multi-level marketer of who? And so when you start multi-level marketing for God, # multiple streams of spirit, then what you do is you allow yourself, come on now, to show up in your entity to catch them, and God will do the rest. And maybe if we get out the way and stop trying to clean them, we wouldn't get our feelings hurt. See, my feelings got hurt because I caught them and thought I could clean them. That ain't my job. That was my lesson. My job is to catch you, because when I start to clean you, I get hurt. The skills hurt me. I'm not built for the cleaning. I'm built for catching. And when I stop cleaning and only start catching, my whole life transformed, because it ain't my business. So I start saying, why are you minding God's business? As long as I be me, then he can get whatever victory out of my life, and then they will come freely without me having to say nothing. And that has been working a whole lot better, honey.
Woo! Girl, you done preached a whole sermon in 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Girl, oh my G. I'm going to have to go and watch this again. That was such a download. You are so right. He said, fishers of men, catch them.
He didn't say nothing.
You're supposed to clean them.
He didn't say nothing about that. So that's what we out of position, and that's why we in our feelings, because that's not your job. Your job is to be.
I'm gonna try not to cry. I'm gonna try, because I realized I was trying to do the cleaning,
and that's why you got hurt. You ever clean a fish?
Oh,
you got that skill? Sometimes you catch a shark. Can you see the shark? No. You'll bite your arm off. The thing is that we're bringing in stuff that we can't handle and wonder why we've been scarred and hurt, and because you're doing stuff that's not even it's not even your job title.
Right. So, and then you know what hurts again? Woo, this is hard, but I'm going to say it because it's my truth. But your intentions are one thing. You know your intentions, but the other people, they can't see your heart.
That's right.
God can see your heart. The people, they see you through their lens. Honey, your lens are so shaded. Where's my shades?
Come on now.
I need you to go and find some better lens, because what you see for me is not the truth. Now. But here's the thing. What I've done out of my heart for you in your life, and now you can't see it, and you're throwing me shade, and you're actually saying, I didn't tell you to do that. That's all I'm going to do.
Come on now. That's it.
I did not tell you to do that.
Say, I'm minding my business.
When you get grown enough to mind your business, you have arrived. But here's the thing. I have been so in tune to being my sister's keeper or brother's keeper, because we need each other. You know, we need support. We're not in this earth alone. But again, I love your example. I'm supposed to catch the fish, but not clean it.
Yeah. Because you got to understand, you got to go back to what we said before. The reason why we get hurt is because when we're trying to help everybody, they didn't ask. God said you got to ask. See, when I ask for stuff, it's because I seen it. And because I seen it, I want it. If I'm giving you stuff that you never seen, then you don't even want it. So if I give you something that you didn't want, then what you going to do with it? You're going to throw it in the corner. You may step over it. The birthday gifts that somebody, if I made a registry of what I wanted, and you decide to buy me anything, right? But I had a mindset of what I wanted, I will probably either re-gift it, not me personally, but I'm going to talk about people in general, or I may just leave it to the side. But when I come for something, because I'm looking for something, I'm going to treat it different. See, the problem is we're giving unsolicited advice.
Unsolicited.
You understand? And we're upset because they're not catching it. But they didn't ask for what you're giving them. And so I think that's why God made it clear in the word that once you ask for it, it is yours. But if you don't ask for it, you won't respect it, you won't appreciate it, and you won't treat it the way you're supposed to. And so we're hurt because not only that we catch it, and now we cleaning it, we don't even know who they are, so we don't know what they're supposed to ask for, and we're giving them what we think they need because we know where we came from, but they're not even ready. And so they're waiting for what we're offering them because they don't see the value. How many people come back later and was like, oh my God, I see what you were talking about? Because it's in God's time and not your time. They said when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We teaching people that ain't even signed up for the class. So that is not a student. They won't be studious. They won't be receiving on that level, right? Until they can respect you for what you're offering because they see what you have and now they're asking, you will waste your time. And that's only because I wasted a lot of my time. Can I tell you that? All lessons I had to learn on the journey of soul sage doctrine, right? I had to learn that everything you giving, everybody's not ready for. And they may, receive it differently, even though your intentions are amazing because you're like, I want the best for you. You got it, and it turns into them not being ready because God said, I didn't tell you to do that. You dreaming bigger than them. They got to dream. It is their faith into works, not your faith into their works. You work your thing, and then you be faithful over your stuff, and they will follow you. So when you follow the dream, they will follow you because you're just inspiration, and everybody clings to inspiration. Everybody love Oprah because she's inspiration. You love Tyler Perry because he's inspiration. But that's because he showed up when nobody knew his name. For him first. And he didn't ask you to do, he just was doing. And then you wanted to be a part of what he created. So create what you want, and they will want to be a part because you are going to identify with your reality, and they are going to need what you have to offer.
Woo, girl, I'm. This smorgasbord is good.
Listen, and I ain't been on live in a while. I'm coming out of my fast on Monday, so I've been like secluded. So I mean, I got so many. I'm like, I got so much stuff that been coming in. I'm like, I cannot wait to set y'all on fire. Because I mean, it's time. We are not gaining no more time. It's assignment time. Period.
Girl, this is assignment time. Let's write that. Put somebody.
Hashtag assignment time. And you know what I say? I say no more sis. SIS. It means suffering in silence. Time to stop being dumb. And dumb just means speechless and without a voice. We have to speak up for ourselves so that we can remove the shame and get in our lane. So if it's time for secret healing, I'll speak at you until you're willing to receive it. But at the end of the day, it's like you just do what you're doing and you keep on dropping your impact, and eventually you'll realize that you know how many unconscious seeds get planted in our gardens of our mind that we have to take out. Well, the same thing works with good stuff, right? And so if I plant good stuff all the time, eventually that too will grow. So the question is, what are you planting in other people's gardens that God is giving you credit for? Because God is the one catching up the credit. And so it doesn't matter if they see you. If God knows your intention and see what you plant, oh, he's going to multiply your territory outside of what they do with what you offer them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Girl, you are speaking a word. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you. Everybody has so much. No more sis. And what was sis again?
Suffering in silence.
Suffering in silence.
No more sis.
Girl, let me tell you, I'm going to reach out. I just got a book. Gosh, I should have bought it. Hold on for 1 minute. Where is this book? Hold on. Okay, I was with another sister last week, I believe it was. And no, before my Jamaica trip, I'm going to show this book.
My children.
Adulting in My Childhood Pain. And it's a story. And I'm going to have the authors, at least one or two of them, on to talk about this book because this is so powerful. I love that we now, I was on at 12 o'clock. I didn't come live at 12 because I was on another live with another person that speaks into my life, Heart2Heart, and she was talking about time to speak up, trying to use your voice. So many people don't speak up because of what we've learned as a child. So I'm just going to share like two things. How many people have heard this in their child life? Where is it? Who do you think you are? What happens in this house stays in this house. Do as I say, not as I do. My mama said that all the time. It's your fault.
It's your fault.
You ain't gonna be nothing. I mean, it's like so many things that we heard as children. And I said, I've always had a voice. I was one of them kids that spoke my mind. And my mother used to say, I'm gonna knock you in the middle of next week. And after a while, I mean, finally, I'm like, okay, she's gonna knock me in the middle of next week. So I said, Mom, is that Wednesday or Thursday? And she just stopped and she was like, who the heck are you? Like, who would ask that question? I'm like, well, since you're gonna knock me, I want to know, is it gonna be Wednesday or Thursday?
What are you thinking Friday? I need a Friday.
Yeah, well, it's a Friday, right? So I said, I've always had a voice. So I was always called fresh. You're so fresh. You're so sassy. You know, because I wanted, you asked me, or you didn't ask me, but I always spoke up. And I was always the advocate of somebody, not only myself, but somebody. Yeah. You know? So
I was about to say, when you said that about the kids, it made me remember when I was, I put out my old book, was just sitting here. But when I was 15, I wrote this for Youth Sunday, right? And it was called Positive Youth Images. It says, positive youth images are our qualities within. We have our goals and we are very determined. determined to show you we are good role models, positive youth images for your sons and daughters to follow. Not only are we academically able, but we are also spiritually stable. We acknowledge the man who died for us, so we give him our praise and all that good stuff. We also are talented and helpful to each other, and we as a youth take time to acknowledge one another. You sometimes get mad because we don't always have positive essence, but you must always remember we are still adolescents. You sometimes think we don't have what it takes, but if we just sit back, we will eventually learn from our mistakes. You sometimes think we don't have our head on our shoulders, but you must understand we learn as we get older. You always tells us do as I say and not as I do, but you must always realize you are our role models too. You always want to sit down with us and teach, but it won't hurt you to practice what you preach. But I must tell you, all the things that you instilled are all the same reasons why we are strong-willed. We, the youth, thank you, the parents, for your advice. You are the reasons we are enjoying our life. So now you know why we have positive youth images, which I listed above. And last but not least, the most important is love. And so when you said that, it made me think about the poem I wrote to the parents of the congregation, because that's what it is. I made a conscious decision with all of my kids to make sure they had a voice, which means if they sat at a table and they didn't like something, they tried it once. I didn't want to instill in them to sit down and eat what they did not want because somebody made it, because then they will become adults who sit in relationships and sit around people who they just want to do what they gave to them and just take it on. The other thing is I wanted them to have a voice. Often you tell kids to be seen and not heard. And then when they're 18, you're like, well, why you don't got your own mind? Because I never practiced my voice. And so I want to help you, guide you with your voice, because what you say matters. And just because you are a little person doesn't mean you don't matter, because I often said our kids come through us, they don't belong to us. And they too will have to live their own testimony. So the question is, what are you planting in them so that they would know that you are an example and we are watching you? And so I wanted my kids to not sit there and tell them that just dream and the sky's the limit. If I want them to fly, then I got to fly. And so them being able to live in their dream starts with me. I can't be doing all this and telling me, well, the dream is your life is your oyster. How many of us are living places and doing things we do not want, but want to get somebody else to believe that it's possible? If it's possible, then you should be doing it if you're telling you to do it. And so until we are willing to be accountable to who we say we are and what we want other people to be, we got to start with us. And so until I can show them that it doesn't matter how full your plate is, that you have a responsibility and that you can make time if the time matters, then they won't understand that. And so I think it's important that we live in that magnitude with our children, because they are paying a lot of attention and they are brilliant beyond measure.
They are.
And if we don't seize these moments of nurturing them, we're going to miss the mark.
Yes. And a lot of times our parents were so busy trying to provide a roof, food, clothes. They didn't take the time to nurture our gifts, talents, and abilities, and they never seen them. And then sometimes if they saw our abilities, it scared them. Because they didn't know how to structure it. And I was always wondering, well, heck, I wanted to do ballet. I wanted to do tap. I wanted to do the piano. I wanted to learn to ride a bike. I had all these things. And I did, finally, I never did ballet, but I did tap. I did dance. My mom finally said, okay, go to dance. I begged and bothered her so much. She's like, okay. And there was this Black lady, her name was Miss Carter, and she would teach us not hip hop, African dances and things like that. And we had our recitals. I never did learn how to play the piano. I wanted to, but my mama, they wasn't buying the piano. So I never learned how to play the piano. But so many times our parents didn't have the time. Because guess what? Their parents didn't invest in them.
That's what I said. That's it. And that's what I'm saying. I stopped being mad because how can you dream for me what you couldn't even dream for yourself? That's the generational curses that we break. We change the trajectory of the next generation's life. And so I don't hold you accountable for what you didn't know. But if I want something different, I got to do something different. And so if you want the freedom, a lot of the times they talked us out of it because it was going to cost them. And they weren't getting paid their value. So they didn't have the resources to give us our wildest dreams. So they couldn't kind of mold in the places that they were that we wanted to, right? And so a lot of the times it was, I can't afford this. I can't afford that. And so if we don't learn to structure our time where we're getting the value of it, then we will still say the same thing. I can't afford, but you can't afford not to figure out who you are so that you can live effortlessly, because you're going into 60 and 70 and 80 and everybody is still living the same lives. And so you can't afford to not live a freedom of knowing that you get to dictate what your life looks like. Even if it's a job, make sure it's the one you love. Don't go to those jobs that don't bring you joy, because that is why you're not wealthy, because you're not overflowing in peace of knowing that everything you got created in your life, you love it. That's what being wealthy is about. It's not about it being perfect.
Right.
It's about you understanding that everything that I have going on, it is perfect for me. And that's what we have to identify with, our perfection for what feeds our soul, not anybody else's.
Right. And I want to share Melissa. She says, both my husband and I feel like busy providers right now. We don't have a choice at this moment, but we all feel it. How do we cope in those moments as a family when we don't have a choice? So with that, a lot of times I know it's hard to provide, especially, in this day and age, because things are going up, prices are going up. However, when you ask a child honestly what they want, they just want to be seen by you.
That part.
They want to know that they are valued. So just by you and your husband sitting down and playing a game with them, spending time, allow them to know that I'm important enough for my mom and dad to sit down and play a game on Monopoly.
Come on now, Queen. Tell her. Because I just wanted to add, Melissa, you guys do an amazing job. Because I'm going to tell you, they don't remember what you brought them. They remember how you made them feel.
There you go.
And that's the point. That's why I say wealthy. People chasing the dollar bill, and you can buy them everything in the world. They're going to tell you wasn't there for them. It doesn't matter. That part has no substance. Material things aren't sustainable, because you would spend $200 and they'll step on that stuff. But if you sit in the yard and y'all plant and the amazing things that you do with them, those are the things that are going to give them their substance. And so you got to understand that it's not about buying stuff, is about creating a quality of life, not quantity of life. Quality is better than quantity, okay? And so the fullness of it is what they will understand. And you guys work hard and you're entrepreneurs and all of that. And so you guys are doing an amazing job. So never think that what you can't buy. Let me tell you something. My kids didn't get a lot of stuff. Okay, 5 kids, stay at home. There was a lot of sacrifices that had to get made.
That's
but
right.
You didn't tell by their life, because we spoke about what we didn't have. We do Kwanzaa. And so not only is it a tradition, but everything is 50% off. Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas. So, I mean, it works in 2 different ways. So it's about being real with them, because if you tell them what's going on, I promise you, they respect that way more. See, the reason why we didn't understand our parents is because they lied. They didn't say it's hard. They didn't say marriage was hard. They didn't say I'm tired as hell at this job. And so we picked on their characteristics, and then we like, well, golly, nobody told me it was going to be like this. And so we set them up for failure because we don't set them up for reality. They're not willing to fight it out because they don't know it's a fight. They're not willing to do the work. And so by being transparent, right? So transparent has the word parent in it to me.
Yes.
But it means to be crystal clear. And so if you show yourself, then they can respect your perspective, and then they grow a appreciation. And so while a lot of stuff, they didn't get to do a lot of stuff, but they got a quality of life, because we invested, like you said, in the spaces that we could, that mattered the most, until the time where they could live a different reality. but they are full in what matters. And so I just want to say, you guys are doing an amazing job, if I do say so myself.
Yes, because she says we're just trying to pay the bills, sis. We don't do spending, right? Mm-hmm. But again, a lot of times okay, here's the thing. My parents married. My dad was an excellent provider. We had a roof, we had food, clothes, everything. But what I remember most about him, because I hardly seen him.
Come on now.
It was almost like a single parent, because my dad used to work. He used to go to work at 2, leave the house around 2 p.m. We're in school. Mm-hmm. He came home after we're sleeping, 1 o'clock in the morning. So we never seen him Monday through Friday. We didn't even know we had a dad until Saturday. So he would take them, my mom, grocery shopping. So we'd go grocery shopping, or we would go get sneakers. Or I remember he was the one that took us to buy sneakers. And back then it was only Pro Kids or Converse. Red, white, or blue, black. We didn't have a lot of choices with sneakers. But I remember those things. And I remember my dad used to take us on trips in the summertime. But he doesn't know his daughter. He doesn't know my favorite color. He doesn't know the things I like to do. But here, my dad sowed words into my life. So he one day he was like, "Oh, I want you to be a director." What director? What? That wasn't even in my mind. I'm busy working. But yes, I became a director in my company. And so he likes to throw things. He's like, "Oh, you'll be a good politician." Oh, I hate politics. I would not be. There ain't no way I would be. But what he sees is I'm vocal.
Come on now. Yeah.
And so what he doesn't realize is I can be a minister.
Come on now.
Because I am connected to God.
Right.
And I read and study my Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So I'm going to be a minister.
That's right.
I'm going to show people the truth about
God.
Religion.
Come on now.
And I want me, you, Melissa, and a few others to get into a conversation. There's a deep conversation we need to have about marriage. And I just shared something with my aunt, and she's like, "Girl, you need to talk about that. I like what you said about that." Because we are so steep in what is in that Bible, not realizing that there are books missing. There are things people took out. Right? And God, he is so infinite that what went on in this age is different for this age. And so we have to always be revelatory, right? Revealing his knowledge through us, right? So that's what I want to say about that. And Melissa, she's writing a paragraph. Until Christmas. And what?
And by the way, the cat's out the bag. As of Tuesday this week, the kids Googled if Santa, the Tooth Fairy, and Easter Bunny was real. That was a fun lunch conversation, but now they actually have more gratitude and appreciation. Come on now, to know you were buying it. They didn't know. That's why I said, don't you tell your kids don't lie, and you lie to them, they hold them like. That's a good lie, right? No, it's
exactly.
It is what it is. You're a part of traditions, right?
Right. Vivian says some parents give children the things that they never had, which is not good because it spoils them and creates entitlement. I mean, that's true in a way, but as a parent, you always want to give your child better than you had.
Yeah.
But the mistake we make is sometimes we shelter them and not share with them. So I am not a parent because I don't have any birth kids, but my nieces and nephews, trust and believe, I've shared with them, listen, here's what it takes to put the lights on. Here's the bill for this. Here's the bill. I've never seen, growing up, I've never seen the bills.
Nope.
My parents never shared how much they made.
Yeah.
So I don't know how money works, but I share that stuff, right? And so it's nice to give our children. There's nothing wrong with giving the children, but it comes with a cost. And sometimes we have to say, listen, if you do X, Y, Z, you get the extra.
Mm-hmm.
It takes work.
It takes work. And I say check your intention. Check your intention. Because if you're giving it to them to replace the time that you feel guilty of not being around, then you don't buy them something. You have a conversation. You say, mommy is busy because, or daddy is busy because I want to be able to provide this type of life. I want to be able, so you have the conversation. So if you're giving them stuff in replacement of the time you feel bad that you're missing with them without a conversation, then they'll expect you to buy their way. And so when you're not buying their way, they will judge you. So remember, you creating relationships by how you move, how you relate, and what you do is how they see it, right? And so if I decide that because I'm not here, I can buy you something, they get in relationships and marriage, and they're like, well, if you're going to be going, you're going to buy me something. That become a problem, right? And so you got to really be mindful of why you're doing it. Always set an intention, not because I feel bad, but because you deserve it. Because then you teach them that you get what you deserve. Life will always give you what you deserve. And so make sure that you're not doing it for your ego, but you're doing it for their gratification. And that changes the intention. So
that's great. You're not doing it for your ego. Brenda says, I gave my daughter what she wanted and rewarded her on her accomplishments, but made sure she realized it was a privilege.
Come on now. And that's it. And that's what you do because you want to honor them, right? We're going to chastise them when they're bad. So we honor them when they're amazing because it's equally the same energy. That's why you see a lot of times kids are bad because they ain't getting attention. Well, if you was tending to them just because they woke up this morning, then they won't need the attention when they think nobody is looking. So it's just behaviors that we can fix in ourselves and we can change a generation. Because if you show up for somebody like you wish somebody had showed up for you, you fix the gap.
Amen. Preach, sister, preach. Melissa said, we are very transparent with the kids on costs and expenses. That's great. I want them to always be able to find a way. That's why I started them on the Kidpreneur and Young. That's amazing.
That's right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Vivian said, I'm too late for this lesson. My baby's 36 years old. Honey, it's never too late. Because at 36, I'm sure there are lessons that your baby needs to learn.
And their babies, right? Because the way you stop the generational curses start in the grandchildren and the great-grand. As long as God is creating, I say solution producers, right? Because every baby that comes in this world is a solution producer.
Wow, I like that.
End of the day, there's a problem and he sent them. So as long as you're creating, as long as babies are born every day, then there's a job to be done because the future lies in them. And so it's not about your child. It is about the village that is going to have the world. And so information is free. Let that travel abroad so that you'll be okay with your neighbor's kids and the kids up the street because Vivian showed up and say, listen, you matter. I see you. Good job. Don't always chastise the kids. Tell them, what can I do to serve you? How can I love you? How can I help you do your dreams, right? We don't got community centers. There's a lot of stuff missing in the world that we had back then. The problem is we are missing because when we start to give what they are missing, then that is the answer. So until we become the solution to somebody's problem, just as they are, then we miss the mark. So every child is a child of God. And if you're standing here, then if you come across somebody, plant a good seed because they need to know that they matter and it will change who shows up on your corner.
Amen. So listen, we are 17 minutes. I would love to.
We got to get out of here.
I need you to read. Let's see. We need to read one of your poems. We need to read. Where's your poem? You have your book?
Which one?
I don't know.
365 or Precious Thoughts on the Soul?
Give us a poem that will fit this conversation of life is a smorgasbord. And so what I was going with that topic, everyone, is we as a person, we wear many hats. Me, myself, I'm a daughter, cousin, auntie, granddaughter, have yet to put on the hat of a wife. I will not put on a hat of a birth mother. At 53, ain't happening. It ain't happening. But we also have a lot of things going on in our lives. Not only rearing the children, but staying healthy. Not only healthy in our body, but healthy in our mind, healthy in our hearts with our relationships with people. Okay. Also, our careers. How do we produce money to live on? careers, job. There's so many things about life. But here is what I'm looking for. Because, you know, you talk about what's your purpose? What's your purpose? Well, my purpose is to show God on earth. That's why he created me, right? But I know I'm happy when I am helping others live their life the best way. So I share my resources, I share my information, and I love freedom. I love the freedom to travel. I love the freedom to do what I need to do. And I'm a worker bee. I will not retire. I will not retire because I feel like when you retire and sit down, your bones will start to grow on you. So I think even if I'm the ripe old age of 93, I will be in some community center just sharing my wisdom about life because it's necessary. So many of our elders are sitting at home in front of the TV, not doing anything, not sharing. I mean, unfortunately, they have the thing of some of them, I can't get involved. Right? And I think that's wrong. As an elder, it is your job to share your experiences so that it can help me in my life lessons and avoiding the pitfalls, right? So I think the seniors are very, very valuable. And I love the seniors. So as I ripen with age, I hope to always be able to share what God has given me to share. And so that was the gist of this coming in at the 7th month. And Precious said earlier, 7 is the number of completion.
Completion, baby.
So what are you doing for this July 2021? What are you guys doing? Put it in the comments so that way anybody listening, looking, they might be able to reach out and help you out. Connect with somebody, please. Did you find a poem?
Yes, I'm trying to think if I want to do internal love or you don't know my story. What you think?
Internal love.
Internal love. It says, are you ready to take inventory on what makes you you? Can you accept that the challenges you were meant to go through? You do know that you're special and wonderfully made, and the best pieces of you were your resilience in the shade. Though the light wasn't on you, you refused to wither and die because there was a voice down inside you which wouldn't let you hide. Don't hide from the pain that makes you so strong. It built up your tolerance, so it couldn't have been wrong. The journey is yours. Every pain was a brick to build your foundation, not for internal pain to inflict. You're so busy crying over the bricks laying around, you miss the whole blessing of a structure profound. The pains of your past are the roots of your tomorrow, and you can't build a life if you're basking in sorrow. You have been made equipped for a journey with only your gain. If only you can I choose me and stay in your lane.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Because no one can master or dance to the beat of your drum. So it's time that you recognize that you're worth all the sum. The sum of the value of knowing your worth, because you have been a treasure since the time of your birth. So love yourself internal and watch how you grow, since love is the light in which all greatness flows. Yes. It's time to love yourself deeply. Hashtag no more excuses is the road, and only I choose me will lighten up your load.
Wow, I love that. We're supposed to do this? Hey.
And that was a prophetic Soul Sage Doctor original.
Yes.
365 days of loving yourself to life, becoming the gift you were always meant to be. PreciousPaulin.com.
What's your website?
PreciousPaulin.com.
Okay. So we are going to put that, PreciousPaulin.com. My dog want to make an appearance. Get down, Eva. That was amazing. Did I spell it right? Precious PreciouSPaulin.com.
Absolutely.
That book is phenomenal. I need you guys to go get it. And I am just...
Thank you, Queen.
Yes, Precious is amazing. And since I have all you guys, I just want to share one more time. I shared it in the beginning, and I know people will not go back to the beginning to look. So I'm going to be transparent and share my next journey. I was challenged to do this. I am creating a group to go through a study, and this is the study. It's called, it's a chase study. Can you see it? Chase study. And it is chasing after the heart of God. So I'm looking for a few women, even men, it doesn't matter, who feel that instead of chasing all the life things, but God is calling you to chase after him, after his heart, after his desires for your life. Please inbox me, comment. All you'll have to do is to purchase the book. And it is an 8-week journey. So it's an introduction, so I can share what the study is. And then it is actually 7 lessons. And the first lesson is identity. The second is courage. The third is obedience. The fourth is belief. The fifth is repentance. The sixth is surrender. And the seventh is chased down. And the reason why I'm going through this study is, honestly, God has been sharing with me, Stephanie, you chasing everything. You're chasing wealth. You're chasing peace. You're chasing freedom. You're chasing worth. What's the next job? Not job. I ain't looking for no job. What's the next career? What's the next business?
What's the next business?
What's the next business? Stop. He told me, chase me. And I had this study since 2014, 15. I purchased it. It's a group study. So my coach said, Stephanie, I'm going to challenge you. You don't have to do it yourself. Because I said, I have to go through this study so that I can introduce it. She says, why? Do it with people. So I'm calling all the people who feel like they need to embark on this journey with me. Show up with me. Let us learn and grow together. Okay, community. And I'm going to do it on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. It's going to be on Zoom, so we hopefully can see each other. I love to see people. I know some people want to just not show their face, but please, it helps better if we can see each other. And it's only 40 minutes. And I ain't paying for Zoom. And then I realized people are so busy that I think if I'm making an hour, people are like, oh, I don't even have an hour. If you have 30 minutes, come do the study. I promise you, it won't be more than 35 minutes because we got to pray. We got to pray it in. We got to pray it out. So that's why I say 40 minutes, okay? So Shamandrian, yay! That's my coach, Shamandrian Schenkel. And I told I would do this with community. So again, it's Jenny Allen, and it's just the book. You have to buy the book. And if you want to know more about it, I'll put some details. Just comment, and I'll send you some details and share a link of how you can get the book. I don't know how much it costs. I bought this course, like I said, 3 years ago, and I haven't done it. And God is like, boo, chase me, and I will give you the desires of your heart. So thank you, Miss Paulin. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was always a pleasure to spend this time at God's feet with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so excited about your journey. My girl Precious is about to explode. Oh, it's going to be real good. Real good.
Me too. I'm so excited. Oh, my God.
So connect with her on Facebook, and I shared her website, Precious Paulin. She has a bunch of bling stuff, and her motto is, I choose me.
It's hashtag no more excuses.
No more excuses. I choose me. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, sis. Love you all.
Thank everybody. Love you guys.
Heart to Heart Conversations with Stephanie. It has been a wonderful Thursday. Thank you. And I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Continue to be a blessing. Bye now.